Hi, this is Steve, and we were just discussing a little while ago the sort of the first part of this, the sort of S.T.R.A.I.T survival system. So yeah, if you haven't seen that one, just have a quick look at what these items are. We've got basically S for steel bottle, T for tarp, R for rope, A for axe, I for insulation, and T for tinderbox. And those are sort of the mainstay items that are very difficult to replace, or you couldn't really replace without a lot of skill, I suppose. So we've got some alternatives to those really. Some of them are sort of I suppose the more common man. Some things made out of rubbish, some things made more preferred carry to some extent as well, just alternatives really. So we've got the Crusader cup and bottle, sort of exceptional quality items, much heavier, more than twice the weight really of carrying something like that bottle, but because they're much easier to clean, much easier to cook different things in as well. Like I say, the reason why in the first video I was saying the reason why we carry something that's made of stainless steel like this is because stainless steel has a melting point of around 1400 degrees. Aluminium, more like, if we had that, if that was made of aluminium, it would be a campfire might reach a temperature of say about 500 degrees, and aluminium will melt at about 660. So that's in centigrade. So very important not to have something that's going to start warping or falling to pieces on you. So stainless steel every time. I mean, another sort of possibility for camping cookware really in this kind of thing is stuff like this, which is the Snow Peak 1400 Trek, and you've got the sort of nesting in there the Msr Titan Kettle as well. Now a set like this altogether you would buy them separately because they're separate manufacturers. That will cost you about £100. Now that's titanium is something like 45% of the weight of stainless steel, so less than half of the weight. It's monstrously expensive. This set you're looking at 100 quid. I mean, it's ridiculously expensive really, and what tends to happen, because it's only weight conscious backpackers that buy this stuff, is they tend to make the thinnest possible arrangement. So I would say get something made of stainless steel and not titanium, basically because the additional weight, you're carrying so little kit with all of this stuff that really what we're talking about is a few hundred grams here or there doesn't make any difference. The other thing as well, this is I suppose the third item other than stainless steel, aluminium, which is not suitable for campfires, and obviously the titanium and the alloys of titanium that we have here, is another substance which is I don't know what, and this is the stuff that you need to avoid really cooking out of at all. This sort of thing, you can see it's a very old billy can. It's nice, a really nice item, and I have actually boiled charcoal and things in this before. It's got a lovely old cup on it, things like that. It's fine. I wouldn't like to cook in terms of food with this, basically because it's difficult to use as a water can carrier because it doesn't have a locking lid on there. But the main thing which would bother me is old stuff like this can have lead in there, and it can have sort of impurities in the metal. I mean, old pewter years ago was made by the addition by adding lead to metals, and if you hang that over a campfire, heat it up to 400-500 degrees, and it releases lead into the water, and you're drinking that, especially in a survival situation, that's going to be bad for you. Other options really, we've got some clay pots that have been made there. So what you do obviously is you boil your water up in something like your S.T.R.A.I.T bottle. They're the Stanley bottle that I showed you, and then you've got your water storage container. You pour that in there, and you've got your noodles or whatever, and you can eat them in there. So you make that out of natural clay, fire it in a fire wherever you are. The other items, I suppose, really, we've got this here, which is I quite like this actually. I have actually used this. It's a bit scorching around the bottom. It's a Sapporo beer can. I mean, the actual manufacturers know it doesn't make any difference who it is, but you go into the shop, test the beer can with a magnet. The reason I picked this one is because it's a bit bigger, and as I say, it's steel, which is important in terms of the fire. So if I just trap that between my knees, I'll show you it's got a wire bail, which I've just punched a couple of holes down the side there. So what we do is just trim using an axe or a knife just around the edge of a plug of wood that's the same size, and you can do that by eye, just checking the branches on the trees, and that fits, well, as you can see, very snugly. Oops. There, that's it, into the top of there, so that seals your water in. And you can put a rubber band around that, something like that, and that'll actually seal the water in. So multifunctional again, you can carry water in that and sterilise it and cook. So, and it's free apart from anything else made of rubbish. Another common man item really to replace a tarp, bin liners. I personally wouldn't use these because they're too flimsy. I would use what they call rubble sacks, which are sort of thicker plastic that you can use. You can also use those sort of slightly more expensive, they call them survival bags, that you get as well. So in terms of preferred carry for cutting devices and a common man version here, you've got a very cheap axe, which, as you can see, well, if I show you this next to the original axe that I showed you in the first S.T.R.A.I.T video, There you go. Absolutely no no question there on quality. You've got Wetterling's hunting axe there, sort of properly treated, you know, nicely oiled shaft and nicely oiled head to make sure carbon tool steel doesn't rust. Carbon tool steel is important really for cutting tools like this basically, and there's a bushcraft knife there that's in, you know, it's a Scandinavian grind on it there, sort of micarta, sorry not micarta, Korean handles, which is the stuff that they used to make worktops out of. These to laminate worktops, so it's very, very strong. Brass rivets on that as well, probably about 8 or 9 inches long in total. The reason these are all made of carbon steel is basically because you have to have something that's going to bear up to continued use. If you had a hatchet, for example, like these, which is has a thin steel taper, for example, as the handle, and then sort of a rubber grip on the end, what you have is something that if it breaks, if you do hit a stone or something like that, it's made of a milder steel, so you can take a big chunk out of there and then it's not usable properly anymore, and it's also not repairable. And also what you've got is, if you snap the shaft because of the shock of hitting something like a stone, you can't repair it because, you know, you don't have that sort of hollow piece of steel there that you can just sort of like perhaps use the head of the axe to carve a new helve for it. So important really that you get the right tool for the job, and that's something that's throughout all of this. So it's not just the cheapest item, I suppose. Really, you could buy 10 of these for the price of one of these, about £45 for this, maybe a fiver for something like this. And then again, something like this is going to be more like £100 because they're handmade. And then we've got another one here, the Fullkniven F1, which is the thing I tend to carry when I'm backpacking, which is, I mean, beyond, you know, it's a fantastic knife. Basically laminated steel like this, covered in stainless steel, both sides, and so you've just got a very, very fine edge on there, and sort of a man-made handle on there as well, which I tend to prefer for knives rather than wood. This particular one, I damaged the sheath for it, so what I did is just got a piece of a carry mat like that and just wrapped it up in, I made this out when I was out, gaffer tape, which I tend to keep around for mending tents, and just made a sheath out of that for that, which I just sort of stick in the rucksack so that I don't accidentally sort of carry the knife into a pub or something while I'm on the trail, sort of in between, because people tend not to like that. So it's, I mean, that's basically the cutting tools and different options for that, I suppose. In terms of insulation, this is quite a weird one. If you were actually going to do like I did with the billy can there, and you're making stuff out of junk, you know, as you're going along, you're looking for other options and things like the cheap axe. This is a bit of a weird one. Here you go, see what you think of this. We've got wool bats, or wool combs, I suppose, really. Nails hammered into little bits of skirting board, and what you do is you'd lash the wool on there, you pull it over the edge of the thing, so you've got wool flowing down from those sort of spikes. Then you take the other one, and hold on a second, I should just put this between my knees. You take one there and comb the wool downwards like that. Anything left on there would be just too short, the fibres are too small, so you'd sort of comb them aside and discard them. And then what you do is just sort of turn the same thing over, do it again the other side, stretch the fibres out like that, and then you can spin them, or rolling them on your leg, or using a drop spindle into wool, and create your own wool blanket, which I didn't do with that. That's what I say, it's a Polish military one. I wouldn't be able to make something like that, but there you go. It's an idea. I've not tried that one yet, I must admit. I've tried making wool, and that's been reasonably successful, but yeah, I've not actually been able to sort of knit anything. But I suppose a drop spindle is reasonably easy to create out of a sort of circular piece of wood, very much like the one that's the lid of the billy can there. Drill a hole through that, have a sort of spike coming out there, a long piece of wood. Use that to roll down the inside of your leg like that, sort of to twizzle the wool up. And yeah, once you've sort of combed it out, using those really, I suppose, and then just use a couple of sort of straight sticks that you use the axe or your knife to carve to shape. Use that as knitting needles. Bob's your uncle. There's your thing. So final word really just on tinderbox side of things, because that's the last thing in the sort of straight six. We've had the S for the steel cans. We've had the T for the tarpaulin or your bin liners or rubble sacks or whatever. We've had R for rope. Rope, really, in terms of alternatives, there's not that many alternatives. You could use a piece of something like washing line or string, but they don't have the same properties of these. They're nowhere near as strong, and these are cheap enough as they are, so I'd stick with those. But we've got axe cutting tools as well for A. We've got your insulation layer there, and your funny little ninja climbing claw sort of things there, which comb the wool out. And the final part being the tinderbox for tea. Obviously, you know, what we've got there really is matches, as being the sort of common man alternative to that. But I mean, in the first video, we talked a little bit about the actual tinderbox itself, so have a look at that. But that's it basically. So there we go. I think what I'll do is I'll make one more video just on a third one just on how you can scale down this kit, really. So we talked first of all about how you can have the kit sort of the preferred carry items, I suppose, really, to put in there. Then also how you can improvise and create those items that you need from bits of rubbish, from you know, from whatever you can find and whatever you can get your hands on. And I think what we'll do next is we'll have a short thing about how you can scale that down into what you carry just on an everyday basis if you were going out on a day hike or something like that. But this is the S.T.R.A.I.T 6 system, and thank you very much for watching. Cheers, bye.